Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt Moda here with OddsJam, and in this video, what I'm doing, I'm just giving you my favorite NBA bet of the day again. So I did this yesterday, gave you my favorite NBA bet. We got that one to cash, so we are 1-0 on our NBA best bets, locks of the day, whatever you want to call it. I know everybody says there's no lock in sports betting, which is true, so I'll just call it my favorite NBA bet of the day, not my lock of the day. But what I will say before I get started is I do want to put the word out there that OddsJam is looking for content creators such as myself. I started doing this part-time, then I was brought on full-time, so it's definitely a good way to get kind of an introduction into the sports betting business, into that industry. So if you're interested, we're looking for YouTube videos, TikToks, even just like something as simple as like tweeting your journey, your sports betting journey using OddsJam, anything like that. We're looking for. So if you're interested, just shoot us an email, contact@oddsjam.com, and we'll get you set up. But for this video, the play that I have identified for my favorite bet of the day for the NBA, I like the Pistons plus 10.5, minus 120 at BetMGM. So for my bets of the day, since I do a little bit more research into them, I'm more confident in them than normal. I put a little bit more on it. So I'm actually going to put 1.5 units on this one, which is $150 for me. Let me go ahead and place this bet. We'll see if BetMGM lets me get the full amount. For those of you that have been following me along, okay, they wouldn't even let me place it at all. So let's try this again. 150 on this one, on the Pistons plus 10.5. All right. Let me try this again. I don't know what's going on with my BetMGM account, so I'll go in and try and place it. But regardless, you guys don't need to see me do that. So looking at the play is the most important thing, obviously. The no-vig odds that OddsJam calculates prices this to be at about minus 125, right? Minus 125.22. And this number, is incredibly important. It can be viewed as kind of the true line of what a market should truly be priced at. We like to call it the OddsJam perfect line. This number, it's not just a magical number coming out of a hat. It's pulled from the sharpest sports books in the world with the VIG removed. So OddsJam back tested all these betting opportunities. When I say all these, I mean like thousands of betting opportunities to come up with the determination of what sports books do the best job at pricing odds. We'll use the past to predict the future, right? It's just like history. And so once that determination had been made, okay, these are the best sports books at pricing odds, we'll remove them, and then we'll use them to set the line for future betting opportunities. So in this case, the minus 125 can be viewed as the true line of what this market, this Pistons plus 10.5, should truly be priced at. All in all, equates to a profit margin of about 1.93%. An EV percent of 1.93 can also be viewed as your percent edge. However you want to view it, whatever makes the most sense to you. It's also going to be your profit, or your expected profit, I should say. So your expected profit, sorry, let's try this again. Your expected profit when, okay, I don't know what's going on with BetMGM. I'll go ahead and place that after the fact. But your expected profit, you can calculate it for each individual bet, right? Every bet on the positive EV page, we see a bunch of college basketball, some NBA, some NFL, as your profit margin for this individual bet. So for me, wanting to put 150 on this one, basically you multiply 150 by 1.93%. That's your profit margin. So in this case, I made about, we can call it $3 basically on this individual bet, which I get doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to understand that it's just one bet and that it will be realized tonight. So it's not like an investment that's going to take years or even a year to realize. It'll literally be realized tonight, and it's just one bet. So for those of you watching this, think about how many bets you place on a given night, and then you can kind of use that to determine how much theoretical, what your profit margin will be for a given night as well. So that's the math behind it. So the math is obviously incredibly important to understand when sports betting, but there's a couple things you can do outside of the math. Like everything that shows up here on this page is going to be mathematically profitable, right? Like that's not going to change depending, every one of these plays is going to be. So the things that I like to look for before placing a bet is a couple things. Number one, I like to look into the markets because you want to see where the other sports books price this play at, right? You want to see if you're truly getting an outlier or not. Now, for this play, this Pistons plus 10.5, we are buying a point. So the main line would be priced at minus 110. So that's something to keep in mind. But This is such a good price, getting it at minus 120, which is why I like it so much. So BetMGM prices it at minus 120. Tipico does have it close at minus 125, but look at the rest of the sports books. Minus 145 on PointsBet and DraftKings, WinBet at minus 155, BetRivers at minus 136, Pinnacle at minus 135, and this is obviously the most important one because Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook in the world, and then FoxBet at minus 150. And then if you open up the event page in a new tab, you can see where every sportsbook is pricing this market at. So the main line for most books is at Pistons plus 9. Remember, we got Pistons plus 10.5. So the main lines for most books has them at 9. Betfred, PointsBet, FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings, WinBet, not Tipico, BetRivers, Ballybet, Bet365, and then we start getting to the most important ones. This book right here, BetOnline, very sharp sports book, has the spread at Pistons plus 9. This book, this one right here, this column is Bookmaker, another sharp sports book, has this Pistons plus 9. Circa, FoxBet have it Pistons plus 9 as well, and then this column right here is Pinnacle Sportsbook. Again, I mentioned the sharpest sportsbook in the world, has it at Pistons plus 9. We're getting it a full 1.5 higher at plus 10.5. We also see some books price this at Pistons plus 9.5, which is BetMGM, which is Tipico, which is BetRivers. But the reason why I like this one and the additional digging that I did, so the main line that looks like that Pinnacle prices this is at plus 9. But look at where they look at where they price Pistons plus 9.5. BetMGM minus 110. Pinnacle minus 114. So we're buying an extra point. So we're buying this at 10.5 at minus 120 odds. So the gap between BetMGM from 9.5 to 10.5 is only 10 cents. BetMGM is only charging an extra 10 cents of juice from minus 110 to minus 120. Look at where Pinnacle prices the difference from going from 9.5 to 10.5. Pinnacle has it 9.5 minus 114. They have plus 10.5 all the way up to minus 135, 21 cents higher. So Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, is basically saying, hey, if you want to go from 9.5 to 10.5, that's a really big advantage. We're going to charge you 21 cents of juice for that extra point. BetMGM, who has this wildly mispriced, is only charging you an extra 10 cents. So that's 11 cent gap between what this number should be priced at, right? When you go from 9 to 10.5. So that's another reason why I like this so much. So this is going to be my favorite bet of the day. Pistons plus 10.5, minus 120 at BetMGM. So recommend locking this one in. If you're tailing, comment on the video and let me know. We got last night's to cash. Let's hope we can get tonight's to cash as well. And that's it. So remember to hit us up, contact@oddsjam.com, and have a good one.